Secondary school girl caught doing this. The bell rang, and the students of St. Monica's Girls Secondary School gathered in the assembly hall. Everyone was excited at chatting about the new girl who was joining their school. Rumors had spread that she was very beautiful, and everyone was curious to see her. Do you think she's really as pretty as they say? Nkechi whispered to her friend Bisi as they stood in line. I don't know, Bisi shrugged, but everyone says she has skin that glows like gold. Just then, the headmistress, Miss Ade, walked up to the stage with a smile. Good morning, girls. Today, we welcome a new student to our school. Please, give a warm welcome to Amara. The hall became silent as Amara stepped onto the stage. The moment she appeared, there was a collective gasp from the students. Amara had the most beautiful glowing light brown skin they had ever seen. It shimmered under the lights, and she smiled shyly as the students stared in awe. Even the teachers were amazed. She's like a princess, one girl whispered. Look at her skin, it's so perfect, another added, eyes wide with admiration. As the headmistress introduced Amara, Abigail stood quietly at the back of the hall, her arms crossed. She had always been known as the prettiest girl in school with her rich, dark skin that people called ebony beauty. But as she watched everyone's eyes glued to Amara, she felt a tinge of jealousy. Why is everyone staring at her like that? Abigail muttered under her breath. Her friend, Ifeoma, leaned closer. She's the new girl, Abigail. It's normal for people to be curious. But Abigail didn't feel like it was normal. She watched as the teachers greeted Amara warmly, offering her compliments and small gifts. They even gave her a special seat at the front of the hall. Abigail frowned. It's not fair. They never treated me like that when I was new. For the next few days, all anyone could talk about was Amara. At lunchtime, students gathered around her table, asking her questions and admiring her skin. What do you use for your skin? A girl asked eagerly. It's so shiny and smooth. Amara smiled politely. Oh, nothing special. Just soap and water. But Abigail didn't believe it. Every time she walked past a group of girls talking about Amara, she felt her face grow hot with anger. She watched as teachers praised Amara for her neatness and gave her little treats like extra snacks during lunch. It's like she has everyone under her spell. Abigail grumbled as she and the former sat under a tree during break time. Come on, Abby. Don't be like that, Ifeoma said. She's just new, and people like her. It doesn't mean they have forgotten about you. But Abigail crossed her arms and stared at the group of students crowding around Amara. You will see about that, she muttered, her eyes narrowing. There's something strange about her, and I'm going to find out what it is. As the days passed, Amara's popularity grew. Teachers praised her. Students wanted to be her friend, and everyone seemed enchanted by her glowing skin. As sports, Amara shined. Always cheerful, always smiling, and always performing well at sports games to the admiration of her teammates and other students. Abigail watched from the shadows, her jealousy turning into determination. As she watched Amara shine in sports, she was sure Amara wasn't as innocent as she seemed. She just has to prove it. Abigail was not used to being ignored before Amara came. She had been the one everyone admired. She was known as the ebony beauty because of her deep rich skin tone and her bright smile. The teachers always complimented her, and the other girls wanted to be her friend. But now, things were different. Everywhere Abigail went, all she heard were whispers about Amara. Did you see Amara today? Her skin is glowing like the sun, one girl said excitedly as she walked past Abigail. She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen, another added, not even noticing Abigail standing right there. Abigail's hands clenched into fists. Why does everyone only care about Amara now? She muttered to herself. During lunch, Abigail sat alone in the corner of the dining hall. She watched as other girls crowded around Amara's table, laughing and chatting with her. Amara smiled gracefully, and even some of the teachers walked over to say hello. Is she that special? Abigail thought, feeling a tight knot in her chest. She noticed that no one had come to sit with her. When Ifeoma finally arrived with her tray, Abigail's face was already set in a frown. What's wrong? Ifeoma asked, sitting down. Abigail pushed her food around her plate. Can't you see? No one cares about me anymore. All they talk about is Amara. She's taking my place. Ifeoma glanced over at the group of girls gathered around Amara. I know it feels that way, but she just knew, Abigail. People always get excited about new things. Abigail's eyes darkened. It's not fair. I've been here for years and suddenly she shows up and everyone forgets about me. Ifeoma sighed. Maybe you just need to give it some time. People will remember how amazing you are. But Abigail wasn't convinced. Everywhere she went, she saw Amara. In the hallways, girls would whisper and point as Amara walked by, admiring her glowing skin. At assembly, teachers would smile at her and nod approvingly. Even during sports practice, the coach called Amara the star athlete just because she managed to score a goal. Abigail crossed her arms as she watched the students cheer for Amara from the sidelines. She thinks she's so special, she said through gritted teeth. Ifeoma glanced at her worried. Abigail, maybe you should just try to be friends with her. You are both pretty in your own way. But Abigail shook her head. No, I don't want to be friends with someone who is stealing my spotlight. That night, Abigail lay in her bed unable to sleep. She thought about all the attention Amara was getting. The gifts, the compliments, the friends. She felt a mix of anger and sadness. Why doesn't anyone care about me anymore? She whispered into the darkness. What's so special about Amara anyway? Suddenly, a thought crossed her mind. What if there's something else going on with her? Something strange, she wondered. Abigail sat up in bed staring out the window. There has to be a reason why her skin glows like that. It just can't be natural. I found out what it is. And then everyone would say she's not so special after all. She felt a spark of determination. If Amara had a secret, Abigail was going to discover it, no matter what. Abigail couldn't believe how quickly things had changed. Everywhere she looked, there were students flocking around Amara like bees to honey. It felt like just yesterday, Abigail had been the one with all the friends, all the attention. Now, it seemed like Amara had stolen everything from her. During break time, Abigail stood alone by the classroom window watching as a group of girls surrounded Amara in the schoolyard. They are all giggling and touching her arm, admiring her skin. What do you use for your skin, Amara? It's so shiny and soft, one of the girls exclaimed. Amara smiled sweetly, shaking her head. Oh, it's nothing special, just the soap my grandmother makes. The girls gasped as if Amara had revealed some kind of treasure. Wow! Can you bring some for us, please? Another girl begged. Abigail felt her stomach twist. Why are they acting like she's some kind of princess? She muttered, clenching her fists. Just then, Ifeoma walked up to her. Hi, Abby. Why are you standing here all by yourself? Abigail didn't look away from the scene outside. Look at them, she said bitterly. They're all acting like she's the best thing that ever happened to the school. Ifeoma sighed. Abby, they're just excited. She's new and her skin really is pretty. But it's not fair, Abigail snapped. I've always been the one they looked up to. I've been here longer than anyone, and now, suddenly, everyone forgets about me because of her. Ifeoma put her hand on Abigail's shoulder. I know it feels unfair, but you are still important, Abby. You will always be the ebony beauty of St. Monica's. Abigail shrugged her friend's hand off. Yeah, right. Nobody cares about that anymore. She watched as Amara laughed with the girls, her skin glowing like polished gold in the sunlight. I bet there's more to her than she's telling us. The days passed and Abigail felt her frustration grow. In class, teachers praised Amara for her neat handwriting and quick answers. Very good, Amara, they would say. You are such a smart and polite student. Abigail sat in the back, grinding her teeth. She's not the only smart one here, she whispered to herself. At lunch, Amara sat at the center of a table filled with students, laughing and chatting. Abigail noticed that even the seniors, who usually kept to themselves, wanted to sit with her. They passed her snacks and complimented her on her glowing skin. Abigail picked at her food, feeling invincible. She couldn't remember the last time someone had complimented her or offered her a snack. She remembered when she used to be the one everyone wanted to be around. Now, it was like she didn't even exist. Are you okay? Ifeoma asked, her voice gentle. Abigail slammed her fork down. No, I'm not okay, she said angrily. Ever since Amara came, it's like I've disappeared. Nobody sees me anymore. Ifeoma looked sad. Maybe you should try getting to know her. She doesn't seem so bad. Abigail shook her head. No, Ifeoma, I don't trust her. There's something off about her. It's like she's using magic or something to make everyone like her. Ifeoma raised an eyebrow. Magic? Abby, you are being ridiculous. But Abigail's eyes were serious. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel it. I'm going to find out what her secret is. She can't be that perfect. Later that day, Abigail noticed that even the teachers were giving Amara special attention. In class, they often called on her, smiling as they listened to her answers. During assembly, they asked her to lead the prayers, and after school, Some teacher even gave her extra snacks or small gifts, like cute notebooks and fancy pens. Abigail's face burned with jealousy. This isn't fair, she whispered to herself. They never gave me anything like that. They never treated me like I was special. She watched as Amara accepted the gifts with a polite smile. But instead of giving up, Abigail felt a spark of determination as she watched Amara proudly show off her gift. Something is going on with that girl, and I'm going to find out what it is. She won't stay the center of attention for long, she thought, narrowing her eyes. As the students continued to pay attention to Amara, Abigail promised herself she wouldn't let it go. She was going to uncover whatever secret Amara was hiding, no matter what. As the students continued to pay attention to Amara, Abigail promised herself she wouldn't let it go. She was going to uncover whatever secret Amara was hiding, no matter what. Abigail knew she had to find out the truth about Amara. It wasn't just jealousy anymore. It was a mission. Something about Amara didn't seem right, and Abigail was determined to figure it out. Every day, she watched Amara closely, noticing every move she made. She even started following her around the school, staying hidden behind walls or trees. One evening, as the sun began to set and the shadows grew long, Abigail spotted Amara walking alone toward the dormitory. Abigail ducked behind the bench, her heart beating fast. "I've got to stay quiet," she whispered to herself. "If she catches me, it's all over." Amara paused in the middle of the courtyard, looking around as if making sure no one was watching. Abigail held her breath, peeking out just enough to see. Then Amara continued walking, and Abigail quietly followed. The school grounds were quiet and the air felt chilly. Abigail tiptoed, her eyes fixed on Amara. The closer they got to the back of the dormitory, the more suspicious Abigail felt. Where is she going? Abigail thought. This isn't the way to the dining hall. When they reached the garden area behind the dormitory, Amara stopped and looked around again. Abigail hid behind a tall bush, holding her breath. She watched as Amara knelt near a flower bed. Amara reached under the plants and pulled out a small clay pot. Abigail's eyes widened in surprise. What is she doing with that? Amara opened the pot and a soft glowing light shone from inside. Abigail's mouth fell open. Is that magic? She whispered, feeling a shiver run down her spine. Amara dipped her fingers into the pot and began to rub the glowing substance on her arms. As she did, she whispered something Abigail couldn't quite hear. It sounded like a chant or a spell. Abigail's heart raced. I knew it, she thought. I knew there was something strange about her. Abigail leaned in a little closer, trying to catch more of the words Amara was saying, but she accidentally stepped on a twig. Snap! The sound echoed through the quiet garden and Amara's head shot up. Abigail quickly ducked behind the bush, holding her breath. Please don't see me. Please don't see me, she repeated in her head. Amara looked around suspiciously, her eyes scanning the area. After a few moments, she seemed satisfied that no one was there and went back to applying the glowing potion on her skin. Abigail waited until Amara finished and put the clay pot back under the flower bed. Once Amara had left, Abigail finally let out the breath she had been holding. She waited after Amara had gone in her hiding spot. Her heart was still pounding as she stared at the spot where Amara had hidden the pot. So that's her secret, she whispered. That's why her skin glows like that. Abigail felt a mix of excitement and anger. All this time, she's been using magic or something to look perfect. No wonder everyone likes her so much. That night, as Abigail lay in bed, she couldn't stop thinking about what she had seen. She kept replaying the scene in her head. Amara whispering over the clay pot, the glowing potion, and the way her skin seemed to shine even brighter afterward. I can't believe I was right, she whispered to herself. But what do I do now? She turned to look at Ifoma's bed, but her friend was fast asleep. No one will believe me without proof, Abigail thought. She knew she had to act fast. I have to tell someone, but I need to make sure they see it too. Maybe then everyone will know that Amara isn't who she pretends to be. Abigail's eyes narrowed in the darkness. Amara is not going to stay the center of attention for long. I will make sure of that. Abigail had seen enough. She was tired of watching Amara receive all the attention and praise, knowing that it was all because of some mysterious clay pot and glowing potion. She decided that it was time to confront Amara and expose her secret to everyone. The next day, during break time, Abigail waited by the light tree near the school garden, where she knew Amara often went for some quiet time. Her heart was pounding, and her fists were clenched. This is it, she thought. I'm not going to let her fool everyone anymore. As expected, Amara arrived holding her usual calm smile. Abigail stepped out from behind the tree, blocking her path. Amara, we need to talk, Abigail said, her voice firm. Amara raised an eyebrow, her expression polite but curious. Oh, Abigail, is something wrong? Abigail folded her arms across her chest. I know your secret, she said, her eyes narrowing. Amara's smile faltered a second, but she quickly recovered. What are you talking about? Don't act like you don't know. Abigail's voice was louder now, and a few students passing by starting to look their way. I saw you yesterday sneaking out of the dormitory going to the garden. I saw the clay pot. Amara face remained calm, but her eyes hardened. You must be mistaken, Abigail. Abigail shook her head. No, I'm not. I watch you rub the glowing portion on your skin. That's why you look so perfect all the time. You've been using magic or something, and you have tricked everyone. A few more students gathered around, whispering and glancing between Abigail and Amara. Amara sighed, looking tired. Abigail, I don't know why you are saying these things. Maybe you are upset, but you don't have to make up stories. It's not a story, Abigail insisted, her voice rising. She's pretending to be all nice and sweet, but she's hiding something. She's using that clay pot to make herself beautiful. The students looked at each other confused. One of them, again named Chioma, spoke up. Abigail, are you sure? Amara doesn't seem like that type of person to me. I'm telling the truth, Abigail shouted. I know what I saw. Amara shook her head slowly, her eyes looking sad. I really wish you didn't feel this way, Abigail. I've tried to be kind to everyone, including you. It hurts to hear you say these things about me. Abigail's face flushed with frustration. You are lying. Why won't you just admit it? By now, a small crowd had formed. The other girls watched with wider eyes, unsure of what to believe. Amara's calm and gentle voice made them doubt Abigail's claims. Abigail, maybe you should calm down, another student came and said. This doesn't seem like you. But Abigail wouldn't back down. You will see, I'll prove it, she shouted. Check the garden. The pot is hidden under the flower. She's hiding it there. Amara gave Abigail a sad look, then turned to the group. If you want to search, I don't mind, but when you don't find something, I hope we can put this behind us. The students murmured among themselves. Abigail's eye burned with determination. Let's go, she said, leading the way to the garden. When they reached the spot behind the dormitory, Abigail pointed to the flower bed where she had seen Amara hide the pot. It's right there under the flowers. The students and Amara watched as Abigail knelt down and dug through the soil with her hands. She pulled up the flowers, searching frantically, but there was nothing there. It has to be here, Abigail said, her voice trembling. She kept digging, but all she found were roots and dirt. After a few minutes, one of the girls, Zainab, shook her head. There's nothing here, Abigail. Maybe you made a mistake. Abigail stared at the empty patch of dirt, feeling her face grow hot with embarrassment. No, I saw it. I know I did, she whispered. Amara sighed softly, then reached out a hand to help Abigail up. Abigail, it's okay. Maybe you were just tired and your mind played tricks on you. Abigail put her hands away, her eyes filling with angry tears. This isn't over, she said, but her voice was shaky. As a group of students slowly walked away, whispering among themselves, Abigail felt alone. She looked back at Amara, who was talking calmly to the others, explaining how sometimes people can misunderstand things. Abigail's chest tightened. She pretended to be so innocent, but I know what I saw, she thought. I'll find proof no matter what it takes. But as she walked back to the dormitory, she couldn't help feeling like she had just lost the battle. After the search in the garden failed to reveal anything, Abigail found herself in serious trouble. The news of her accusation against Amara spread through St. Monica's like wildfire. Everywhere she went, students whispered behind her back and teachers gave her stern looks. Abigail felt a heavy knot in her stomach, but she refused to admit she was wrong. She knew what she had seen. One morning during assembly, the principal, Miss Ade, stood at the front of the hall. She had a serious look on her face as she addressed the students. Good morning, girls, she began. It has come to my attention that there have been some troubling rumors spreading around our school. Abigail's heart sank. She could feel the eyes of everyone turning towards her. She tried to keep her head up, but her hands felt sweaty. Spreading false information and accusing others without evidence is not acceptable in our school, Miss Ade continued, her eyes scanning the room. It creates unnecessary tension and can harm the reputation of innocent students. Abigail's face grew hot. She knew the principal was talking about her. She clenched her fist, wanting to shout out that she wasn't lying, but she knew it would only make things worse. Abigail, Miss Ade called out, and the entire hall went silent. Abigail slowly stood up. She felt all the eyes in the room on her, some filled with curiosity, others with judgment. Yes, ma'am, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Come to my office after assembly, Miss Ade said firmly. We need to discuss your behavior. Abigail nodded, feeling her stomach twist. She knew this wasn't going to end well. After assembly, Abigail trudged to the principal's office, each step feeling heavier than the last. When she reached the door, she took a deep breath and knocked. Come in, Miss Ade's voice called from inside. Abigail pushed the door open and stepped in. The principal sat behind her light desk, looking serious. Amara was there too, sitting with her hands folded in her lap. Her expression was calm, but there was a hint of sadness in her eyes. Abigail, take a seat, Miss Ade said, gesturing to the chair beside Amara. Abigail sat down, her hands fidgeting in her lap. She glanced at Amara, who gave her a small polite smile. Abigail quickly looked away. Abigail, the principal began, I understand that you have been accusing Amara of using some kind of magic or potion. You even tried to prove it by digging up the school garden. I saw it, ma'am. Abigail stammered. She was using a clay pot and it was glowing. I'm not making up. Miss Ade shook her head. Abigail, we searched the garden and there was nothing there. Amara has been nothing but a model student since you arrived. You have no proof to support your claims. But, Abigail started, but Miss Ade held up her hand. Enough, Abigail. We cannot have students spreading lies or causing troubles for others. As punishment, you will be suspended for 3 weeks. During that time, I want you to think about your behavior. Abigail's eyes widened. Suspended? But ma'am, I'm telling the truth. Miss Ade's expression didn't change. This decision is fine, Abigail. You need to understand the consequences of your actions. Abigail felt her throat tighten and tears stung her eyes. She looked at Amara, who seemed sad but remained silent. Abigail, Amara said softly, I never wanted any of this. I just wanted to make friends and fit in. I'm sorry things turned out this way. Abigail's hands gripped the edge of the chair. But I know what I saw, she whispered. Miss Ade stood up, signaled that the meeting was over. Go pack your things, Abigail. Your parents will be informed of your suspension. Abigail stood, feeling her heart sink. She walked out of the office. The principal's words ringing in her ears. Suspended? For 3 weeks? She repeated to herself, the reality hitting her like a punch. Later that day, Abigail sat on her bed in the dormitory, packing her belongings. Ifeoma walked in, her face full of worry. Abigail, I heard what happened. Are you really getting suspended? Abigail nodded, trying to hold back her tears. Yeah, they think I made everything up. Ifeoma sat down beside her. Maybe you really did see something, but you can't prove it. Abby, everyone is just confused. Abigail shook her head. I know what I saw, Ifeoma. Amara is hiding something. And now, because of her, I'm the one in trouble. But maybe Ifeoma began, but Abigail cut her off. No, Ifeoma, I don't care what anyone says. She's not what she seems. I just have to find a way to prove it. She zipped up her bag and stood up. Even if it takes the whole 3 weeks, I'm going to come back and I'll show everyone the truth. As Abigail walked out of the dormitory, she felt a mix of anger and determination. She knew she was right and she wasn't going to give up until she exposed Amara's secret. To be continued.